up everybody, welcome to my very first Rad Review, the show on Darkbad TV where I give an awesome review of awesome games. My name is Rade, and let's do this. The review I'm gonna do today is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. The story in Phantom Pain starts with the big boss, the legendary soldier, waking up from a coma after events of Ground Zeroes. Ground Zeroes is the preview game that you may have played before this. His base was destroyed by a group named XOF, and they nearly wiped out his entire unit. But how long was he asleep? Try like 9 freaking years. Anyhow, these guys are still after you, so they raid the hospital you are in, and you're too weak to fight back. So, you almost die again. But your life is miraculously saved by a fellow patient by the name Ishmael. What a bro! Some strange shit happens in the hospital while you try to bust out. There's a lot of soldiers killing off all the patients, and there's also a burning man and a kid with telekinetic powers just wrecking shit and... I don't know. Luckily, and with a bit of skill, you escape the hospital. And you also meet up with Ocelot, who apparently watched over you while you were sleeping. This kinda concludes the prologue of the story, and starts off the intense chapter of revenge and rebuilding of his unit. If you have played a lot of Metal Gear Solid games and are expecting a lot of cutscenes, then you're in for a big surprise. The Phantom Pain actually doesn't have that many cutscenes. Sure, they're still there, but they aren't as long, nor do they give the same feel as its predecessors. But still, don't worry. One feature that gives you a lot of story in the game is the possibility to listen to cassette tapes. The cassette tapes contain conversations from a lot of the main characters talking about everything and anything about the story that progresses through the game. The tapes explain a lot, and also sometimes reminisce past experiences they had in their earlier games. The dialogues were awesome, and I also experienced a lot of development with the characters, making me really connect with them, and also sometimes question their goals and morals. The gameplay in Phantom Pain is also really unique. The game is set in an open world, and you also have your base that you rebuild into its former glory, and you can and will have to return to it once in a while to restock your stuff and also change loadouts for missions. The game also moves away from its linear gameplay that the older games had and has stuck like forever. The game focuses more on the gameplay and the individual experience, more than making the game feel like a movie. And I'm not saying that I don't like that approach. MGS4, for instance, had a lot of cutscenes and felt more like a cinematic experience than actually having a lot of gameplay in it. But I loved the game. Moving on to the controls in this game, I had a little bit of a problem getting used to the controls since the change in Ground Zeroes. Since I'm used to the old games having a different button layout, it was a bit hard for me to get used to using the triggers a lot more. However, the brilliant thing with the new controls is that you can play the game however you want. So gamers who enjoy kinda action-packed sandbox games, like for instance Far Cry, will probably enjoy this game a lot. The new controls give us the option to play the game more like a third-person shooter if we wanted to, while still keeping the options we had in the previous games, where you sneak around and take out enemies without shooting them. However, the best part about this game is that it never holds your hand. You're only given missions with like 1, 2 or 3 objectives, and you don't have to go like there or here or jump up and down. The whole area is your playfield, and you can complete the mission however you want, as long as you clear the objectives. The game is basically your empire! You can play the game in the old-fashioned, sneak around, gather intel and rescue hostages, or you can go guns blazing! With a big arsenal of explosives and guns to blow the fuck out of those enemies. Also, did I mention that you don't have a radar in this game? And they got a little creative here. Basically, what you do when you reach a structure or a camp, you do a little recon to find out where the enemies are. This was a total game changer, which made the game more immersive and strategic. Personally, I think there's nothing more satisfying than sneaking in tactically in a base and kicking some asses while their friends don't know what hit them. And then I kidnap them with the photon recovery system! Yes, you heard that one right. I mentioned earlier that you're rebuilding your base, and what is a base without staff? You have different divisions like R&D that develop weapons and items, a combat division that you send out for missions that give you resource and money, which you will need a lot of when you rebuild your base. You also have base development, security team, intel, and there's a lot. so you have to assign everyone to their proper place to build your base more efficiently. Managing your base effectively leads to better gear, intel, and support in your missions. And these guys are really helpful. You can send in backup ammo and different weapons mid-mission, and there's airstrikes from your support unit. Thunderstruck! The micromanaging in this game is really addicting. I can't count the times I went into a mission thinking, damn, I want to finish this quickly so I can progress the story, only followed by me finding guards being A+ rank or above, and I have only lethal weapons with me. It never goes as planned. Of course I'm taking the chances to kidnap this guy and recruit him to my team, especially if it satisfies that itch of doing a tactical knockdown. But wait, there's more. Something that got me and a lot of people stoked in this game was you can have a buddy with you on your missions. There's like a handful of buddies that you can find when you do your story missions, and the first buddy is the D-Horse. You mainly call for it when you need to get somewhere, or you can make it poop on the road, so enemy cars will skid off track and knock them out. There's also two other buddies that you may already be familiar with, like the dog or the beachy. Holy shit! And last but not least, there's an online mode, where you can infiltrate and get infiltrated by other players. And this is actually pretty fun, because you can steal resources and staff from other players, boosting your development by a lot. However, this is not an easy task compared to the single player game. Everyone customizes their defense to make their base more impenetrable. These defenses range from different kind of weapons, IR sensors, and a lot of stuff. Moving on to the presentation of this game, I find that the difference in the main character does a lot. Big Boss doesn't really speak that much. He's more of a listener, and I personally found it more immersive, and you could really connect with the characters. I felt that they influenced my action a lot, more so than any of the earlier games. Well, the story is a little bit weird, and it has a lot of moments that make you go like, what the fuck? But most of the games have some weird stuff, be it paranormal or futuristic, or straight out weird. Well, not as ridiculous as Nanomachine, son! The game does a magnificent job setting up an awesome atmosphere while blowing me completely away, making me want to binge play this gem day out. I literally played this game for like 3 full days while off from work, and I still got to a meager 15 or like 20% completion rate, so you really have a lot to do. And the micromanaging and side-ups in this game really makes it a lot longer. Something that I wanted in Mother Base is that it could have a lot more places to explore, like if you had some kind of divisions where you could meet Kaz or Ocelot or other people that actually do stuff in your base, and occasionally catch a conversation or something, be it funny or serious, I don't really care. Still, the base in general is a totally cool feature, and it's really awesome to see how big it gets when you develop it and get new stuff. And now, it's time to round it up with my verdict. I was really blown away by how smooth this game was. I really didn't find any glitches that AAA games used to have. Seeing these trailers with such awesome gameplay really had me worried. But in the end, the game turned out really gorgeous, and in my eyes, it's really fit to be called next gen. And I am without a doubt convinced that this is the game of the year. Sure, it's not as cinematic as the earlier games, but it trades it with an awesome non-linear gameplay that gives you total freedom. The game actually encourages you to be smart and play in a tactical fashion, finding your own ways to finish your objective. The game actually does a remarkable job in influencing me and waking up emotions with a good story. It finally gives us an end of a good personal experience of Big Boss's downfall and the rise since its beginning as Snake Eater. The game feels a bit rushed and unfinished, but that also opens up a door for a sequel. And now, the score! I give Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain a 10 out of 10, non-biased, for being an equally awesome Metal Gear Solid game with new addicting gameplay, fit for the old and new fans of the series, or for anyone looking for an action-packed sandbox game. Thank you everybody for tuning in, this has been a Rad Review! And now, I have to go. So smell you later, douchebags! Yeah! Thank you everybody for watching this Rad Review, and as you know, there's other shows waiting for you to discover. How about Just Business with Endigo or Hidden Games with Kitcha? Click on the links and watch them all. That has been all. Yours truly, Rade!